Okay, I'll call the Plan Commission meeting for Wednesday, September 13th, 2017 to order. We have a quorum and the agenda was properly posted?
Yes.
Okay, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 4 is public appearances. This is public's opportunity to speak about any subject that's not a specific agenda item. Nobody tonight? Okay. Item 5 is discuss and consider the minutes from the Plan Commission meeting of August 9th, 2017. Any questions, concerns, or corrections?
Motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Motion by Jennifer and second by Phyllis to approve as presented. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. All right, at this point, we'll open a public hearing. This is an opportunity for the public to provide input regarding a request from Monona Grove Development Incorporated for approval of rezoning of parcels within the Shady Grove plat. We have a representative here from Monona Grove Development.
Yeah,
Here,
it
Aaron.
was actually pointed out to us today that we had an error in the notice that went
Okay.
out. One of the lots was referenced incorrectly. Talking it over with the applicant, they're on board with us postponing till next month on those
So
items.
next meeting till September 3rd, October 11th. Okay. All right. Sounds
Just a
good.
reference to a lot number.
Sure,
Correct.
just so we have all the information correct. Okay, well, we'll close the public hearing then and move forward. That was quick. And the documents everybody should have in their packet. And then are we gonna, okay, so we're not gonna do the final plat then either?
No, we decided it's best just
Okay.
to do them all together.
So is there a motion then to table item number 7?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Motion by Jennifer and second by Phyllis to table item 7, which is a request from Monona Grove Development for approval of a final plat. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Just so everyone knows, it's happening.
Sure.
This afternoon, so it's not like we could have,
No, it's
let everyone
last
know
minute.
and cancel the meeting, so.
Sure.
Anyway,
On item number 8, the rezoning of parcels, can we move forward with that?
Motion to table it.
Table.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, motion by Fred and second by Phyllis? Jennifer, sorry. To table item number 8, okay? Any other discussion on that one?
Point of order.
Yep.
Are we setting, do we know for sure we're setting this for the next meeting then?
Put it on future agenda items?
It seems like that we should be do a motion to postpone or to continue the next meeting instead of table. I think otherwise we have to take it off the table, is that correct?
Yes, but under Robert's Rules Light, a lot of times it is tabled and then it's not taken off the table, but you're absolutely correct that if you table it, then you have to actually make a motion to take it off the table. So either way is fine, it is fine.
Okay.
Okay.
So procedurally, just postpone it?
Well, then you gotta go back to 7. 'cause
Right,
you
then we might as
said-
well
I followed.
table this one as well.
Well, we can, that can be easily done in the minutes. It's a good point, Mick. Normally, I haven't done the tabling and taking it off the table because people seem to forget sometimes, but it's a good point and we can go back to that.
Okay.
So, let's go back to, is it 6?
7 or
7?
6,
Okay.
7, and 8, I would imagine.
We tabled the public hearing as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the public hearing was tabled, but item 7, we should just postpone then or carry? How do you want to word that, Nick?
I think we would postpone it to a time certain, which would be the next meeting date.
October 11th?
To October 11th.
Okay. Do you want to make that motion?
I would make that motion that we postpone. Let me think. Are we gonna? Should we be doing both?
You could do both items in one motion, I would think.
I would make a motion that we postpone both items, the
7.
rezoning and the final plat. I have it right here. until
Right.
October 11th.
Point of order, we already have a motion and a second, so you have to address that before you go back to,
Sure.
sorry, I mean,
Okay.
Okay, so why don't we have a motion?
We have to take it off the table is what we need to do.
Let's remove it. Okay, need a motion to remove it from the table.
So moved.
Okay,
Okay,
Second.
all
now
right.
we need a motion to vacate, I guess.
So moved. Second.
Okay. There we go.
Okay, now,
Motion to postpone items 6, 7, 8 till October 11th, next planning commission meeting.
Okay.
Second.
All right, motion and a second then to postpone items 6, 7, and 8 to the October 11th Plan Commission meeting. Is there any other discussion on that? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. And number 9 is presentation from Jim Garidi, if I pronounced that right, I hope, regarding potential plans for moving forward at Madison at 4901 County Highway N for the purpose of gathering feedback. All right, Jim, if you could come up here. You're on the camera actually up there, so that's why.
Excellent. Do you want my wife to be on
Sure.
camera? She'd like to be on camera.
There's 2 chairs, come on up. Community properties.
She's definitely the better looking one between the two of us, so. My wife Marianne has a business called Moving Forward, and that business helps senior citizens downsize. So when you are going to leave your larger home and move into a smaller home, it takes a lot of work, a lot of time and effort. And so her business is to help folks reduce the things that they have. And she's now been in business a little over 3.5 years, and the business is, as you might imagine, there are lots of seniors who need lots of help, and the business has done very well. It's grown extremely rapidly, which has been fantastic. Part of that business is also helping the folks move into the new location. So among the things that she also has a couple of moving trucks, a number of vans. Her staff mostly works in the community.
Okay.
She has about 20 staff who work for her right now. And again, we work all around Madison, and we're starting to expand towards Milwaukee as well. So again, things are going very well.
Sure.
We currently rent some space over on Trails.
Lumberman's Trail?
Lumberman's Trail.
Okay.
Sure.
We live just up on TT by the Oaks Golf Course.
Okay.
And we've been looking for a space to build an office with some heated storage spaces for our trucks for about a year. And we came across this property on Highway N. As we did some research, it seemed like it is possibly in a planned development area. And so in talking with Aaron a little bit, it seemed like it might possibly fit within what your plans were. But we also we need to bring it to you to find out where does it go. Among the other needs that her clients have had so far is many of them aren't ready to get rid of all of their things. So oftentimes they have things that need to be put into storage units, personal storage units. And it's been extremely difficult. I'm not sure what people in the Madison and surrounding areas are doing, but they're all packed. Every one of them, when she goes to look for an open storage unit, is full. So we thought as a very complementary business, we could have some storage units that her clients could use and possibly the community could use as well. So as we found this property on Highway N, it seemed large enough for what our needs are, probably larger than what our needs are, but that's okay. So our hope was to build most likely an office, some most likely heated garages for her vehicles, as well as some storage units, and then expand as time goes on. I did send Aaron, like I said, we've been looking for about a year, and we had looked at another property, and we had done some super rough, very, very preliminary site planning with one of the local storage folks. So I sent that to Aaron. I'm not sure if you got copies of that.
Yeah, there's a copy of that on your desk along with a map showing the parcels that they're interested in on Highway 9.
Thank you. So that has nothing to do specifically with this site. We just recently found the site in the last week, so we haven't really had time to come up with anything specific for this site. What we do know is we would probably do it in phases over a number of years, depending upon both how the moving forward business as well as possibly the storage business went. Our intent is to look good, to fit within the community. And again, I think we would be open to any thoughts and suggestions you guys have.
Okay, Aaron, any thoughts on what they need to do next or what the next steps would be forward?
Yeah, there's a few issues. One, we don't have any utilities up there yet. It's not in the urban service area yet. Typically, we wouldn't rezone a property until the utilities are ready. This is a little bit of a different case in that they don't necessarily need sewer and water for what they're doing. They have a lot of employees, but they're mostly out in the field. It sounds like they have a way to do the buildings that they're not going to require sprinklers. So it would at least be feasible that they could do it, without those utilities. It seems like with proper design, it could be something that's compatible with future uses out there. However, it's not, the highest value use we could get. And I guess another factor to consider, are we better off waiting for, keeping this area more of a blank slate for when the utilities are there for potentially a larger user.
Okay.
So I think we're just looking for some feedback on those issues.
Okay. This location doesn't interfere with anything we have specifically planned at this point, does it?
We've been talking about this area with the CDA, and we'll bring those plans in here soon to talk about. But that area was projected for, office or light industrial uses. So I think this could potentially work with that.
Okay. Any comments, questions? Nick?
Where exactly is this in that area?
Would be
Quarter mile north,
a quarter mile up from the
roundabout.
northern roundabout.
So you're up the hill a little bit into town, Sun Prairie.
This is the parking lot. Yes.
Any comments, questions?
What are your next steps? What are you asking of us?
I
Where
guess.
you go from here?
Yeah, I guess that's kind of, so in talking here, and it sounded like what our next step is, first of all, we have to buy the property, so that's our
Sure.
first.
That will be
so
important.
That's a big first step, yeah. And then, which we just got an accepted offer today, so we're moving in that direction. Then the second step is to get an actual site plan for this particular location. And this is, we've been working with Aaron trying to figure out the correct steps. So get an actual site plan for what we actually plan on doing in this site, coming up with perhaps some rough elevations of what it might look like from the road as well, and then bringing those back to this committee to be able to hopefully get a rezoning approval. So I think those are our next steps.
Right, and rezoning. is
So I guess
something-
the main question would be, are you comfortable considering a rezone without the utilities being in place?
Do you need utilities to put up or anything in your office?
It currently has a house with the well and septic,
Oh.
and generally speaking, we only have a couple of folks who are there throughout the day in the office part of things. So again, most of our staff are out and about, so the well and septic that are there are adequate for what we actually need right now.
Any heating would be propane, or
Um,
you have to heat anything?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I actually, and I don't recall I don't remember if they have natural gas out there. There is a furnace, which is, I don't know if it's natural gas or propane, but yes, whichever one they currently have is what we would plan on using.
Doesn't sound like it's too big a deal then with that.
Yeah. Are you more comfortable with rezoning it?
Our comp plan says to avoid rezoning areas, until the utilities are in place, and there's a specific development proposal is offered. Well, they have, or would eventually have, a specific development proposal. And again, with the fact that they don't necessarily need the utilities, it makes it seem a little bit silly to make them wait for them.
Right.
The one caveat, I guess, would this land be a lot more valuable when the utilities are in place, and therefore would be used for a bigger project that would have, greater tax base?
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Mick?
Concern I have with it is doing this before we have the new comp plan update. This seems like we're we're making a decision here that could have real impact on what may come out of that comp plan update. And to me, that's a real concern.
Do you have that concern?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it comes back to that value issue, and is this going to be a higher value project, if we wait?
And with the CDA developing potential new tax increment district up there and what the plans would be for that are still, at the very beginning stages. So,
So it'll be a while before we know recommendations from them.
yeah, I mean, we have a general timeline. There's also urban service area approvals that need to happen, and as well as working with all the various landowners that, aren't in the village yet, but, so, there's a lot of moving parts.
Has CDA heard about this yet, or?
No, this is new.
So maybe that is something they might want to do too, is maybe tell the Seat Community Development Authority about it, so they know somebody's interested, the next meeting, which.
Certainly a great growing business, the kind of thing we'd like to have here in the village. I just kind of wish we had a cleaner site to put you on. There's, a few questions about this one. So.
Our next CDA meeting is, I think, first Monday, or second Monday, I'm sorry, next month.
Yep, October 8th.
Yeah, since they're working on it, I mean, if they know somebody's interested, maybe that's the next step. Yeah. Does that work?
I think so. I guess we're trying to figure out, do we really want to buy this property or
Sure.
not, right?
Yeah.
So if my sense is that it fits within what you guys would be comfortable with, fantastic. I'll go through every step that we need to.
Yeah.
If it seems like it's something that isn't within, and we had thought that the comprehensive plan for 2017, that it did fit within which is why we thought it'd be a good spot.
Okay.
So if it does seem like it's something, like I said, that fits within, I'm happy to take any steps that we need to. If it seems like it really isn't something that you guys are interested in, that's great, in which case we'll keep looking for another site.
We just have some homework of our own to do before we, I guess.
I would like to hear what the CDA has to say. I mean, because they know more than we do.
Yeah, certainly not opposed to it, we just got some legwork to do on it.
Sure. From our perspective then, what would our next steps be, besides possibly coming up with a site plan?
Do you think of anything else that we'd want for the CDA to take a look at?
I don't want you to spend a lot of money or anything putting a real detailed plan together, but if you had some kind of concept for how you would use the land, or which parts of it you would use and which parts you might not use or not use right away, some kind of idea of the phasing of the property, what it might look like and the value of it when it's done would probably be important information too. We can also talk about that leading up to the meeting.
You see on our agenda item, we're still working on the comprehensive plan ourselves, so.
Sure.
That's the next item. All right. Any other questions for Jim? Otherwise, thank you.
Great, thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
I'll leave some cards here, just in case you want to.
Okay.
Is that good? Okay.
Perfect, thank you.
So that would be October 9th at 5:30
Over there.
in here.
In here.
Yep. Thanks.
Excellent, thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, item 10, discuss and consider housing chapter of village comprehensive plan. Everybody, I think, had that in their packet electronically. Aaron, I'll let you talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so at the last meeting, we looked at some of the raw data that went into this chapter. This time we're looking at the entire draft of the chapter, kind of putting that data into context and putting some interpretation into it, and seeing how that leads into the goals, objectives, and policies at the end of the chapter. We can go through this in as much detail as you want, but I think the gist of the data overview kind of tells us that a lot of the housing in the village is of a similar size, similar age, and similar value, which presumably then is going to appeal to a similar demographic. We just don't have the same kind of variety that other municipalities have. And I guess unless there's questions about the bulk of it, I would kind of skip to the goals, objectives, policies, and go through those.
Okay.
The goals, I think, are fairly straightforward. Number one, provide housing in neighborhoods that foster the physical, mental, and social well-being of residents. Those are things we want. Number two, encourage design of neighborhoods that will maintain value over time to provide the tax base to maintain public infrastructure. Three, diversify the village's housing stock in terms of size, type, and value to accommodate a broad range of demographics.
I mean, that sounds pretty all-encompassing to me, I kind of like
Anything that jumps out that we're missing?
that. Comments, questions? Okay. So good.
So the objectives kind of stem from those. The first one, use the future land use plan to specify locations for a range of housing types, to diversify available housing and selectively add density in ways that are compatible with single-family development. Two, design neighborhoods that provide a range of housing types, densities, and costs. Three, create attractive and safe neighborhoods that are well-served by essential municipal services and facilities such as sanitary sewers, municipal water, stormwater management facilities, police, fire protection, and emergency services. So again, anything missing, anything we would tweak?
Anybody? Okay. Policy?
So as far as the policies, number one, consider adding one or more new single-family residential zoning districts to provide options for smaller lot sizes by right within certain areas as determined by the future land use plan. I guess that's one I'd like some feedback on, because I know some people look at our 10,000 square foot minimum lot size and think, that's really small compared to my lot, but then, we go to Carpsey and they slap our wrist because that minimum lot size is so huge by their standards.
Okay.
I think just by having that one single-family district with that one minimum size, that kind of feeds into having this similar pattern of housing get built everywhere. This would be one way to bring in a little bit more variety, but there could be some potential blowback down the road for people who don't want.
Thinking like a smaller lot size, like small. How small
Maybe
can
one
you
that's
go?
a minimum of 8,000 square feet.
Okay.
We would look at that in more detail going through a zoning change.
Okay. Larger.
Developers clamoring to build an 8,000 square foot lot.
I guess we don't really know because we don't have the option.
Okay.
Certainly in other surrounding communities, there are a lot of smaller lots.
When you say districts, you're talking about a couple specific areas, not scattered wherever, like if it's a single lot.
Well, I think he's talking
Right.
about, and we have a zoning SR4, single family. This would be we have a different zoning distinction for that.
Right, so it'd be-
SR2 or something.
Yeah, we'll think of a name for it, but yeah, a different district. And as we go through the land use plans for different areas, we can identify ahead of time. This might be an appropriate place for the smaller lots or slightly denser housing than other areas.
Okay. I was just thinking of the lot we just sold on Main Street. Was that a 10,000 square foot lot? Or, I suppose it was deep enough, but,
That's not, but it was already zoned that.
okay. All right. And next one is multifamily. district.
Second one is similar. Consider adding one or more new multifamily residential districts or modifying existing districts to allow larger multifamily buildings by right. Right now, without a conditional use permit, you can't build a multifamily building that has more than 4 units.
Okay.
That's, I think, a little bit restrictive. Again, we wouldn't just put multifamily willy-nilly everywhere, but I think having this option in, again, pre-selected logical locations would kind of encourage a little more diversity of the housing.
Sure. I like number 3, getting in school district involved with our plans.
Yeah, and we do this anyway. So it's really just continuing that communication and mutual efforts as they do their plans and we do ours. Number 4, I think, is pretty straightforward, locating essential community facilities such as schools, churches, libraries, community centers in strategic locations that provide convenient access to residential neighborhoods. These are examples. That doesn't necessarily mean we will have a library or we will have a community center. Those could be hot button issues from time to time here. So. But basically just saying that if or when we have those kinds of facilities, we want them located to serve the neighborhoods.
In logical places.
5, ensure neighborhoods are well served by sidewalks, bike routes, and other non-motorized facilities and provide linkages between neighborhoods wherever possible. Again, I think that's something we're already doing in the newer neighborhoods. We're continuing to do that, especially as we see the bike trail to Madison completed in the next few years. Having linkages back to that throughout the village is going to be important. Number 6, coordinate with landowners to open up suitable undeveloped areas for new development as the need arises. Again, this is what happens kind of naturally through the marketplace. But, just making sure the supply is adequate for future needs. Number 7, encourage the inclusion of 0, 1, or 2-bedroom units in multifamily structures to address the deficit in those types of units. That was something that came up in the data compared to other communities. We really don't have a lot of those types of units. Seniors, young professionals, divorced parents that are not living alone, that kind of thing. Don't have that kind of unit to move into here so much.
Okay.
So again, it goes back to increasing the diversity of the housing. 8, seek opportunities to keep rents comparable to those in neighboring communities by adding smaller units or increasing the volume of units. Again, what the data shows is that our median rent is quite a bit higher than other communities in the area. I think there's 2 things feeding into that. One, that a lot of the rental units are larger than in other places. And also that we just don't have a lot of it right now. So I think both of those are ways to, again, address the variety and broaden the demographics in the village. Number 9, seek appropriate opportunities to encourage developers to include owner-occupied housing at both lower and higher price points to address deficits at both ends of the value range. Because we kind of talked about, a lot of the housing is in that middle value, and it's really both the low and the high end, and we don't have a lot of opportunities. So the zoning category for the smaller lots might address the lower end, but also finding logical places for larger lots that could support a higher value home could be important.
Okay. Any comments, questions?
These goals, objectives, policies, is this something you come up with and then we kind of do the head shake and then the board approves, or?
Head shake or feedback?
Right, yeah, no, it all sounds good. Is it just you or is it collaboration with do you take a look at other comprehensive plans for the like communities that you compare us with and kind of take the good from?
Yeah, I've done that. When I was a consultant, I've worked on other plans. I also sent this draft to Kyle Broom to kind of get a realtor perspective. He generally agreed with these. The one thing he pointed out was there seems to be a demand for both condos and senior housing in the village. The condo versus rental, we don't really try to legislate in the village so much, at least to this point. It seems like as soon as you try to push one, then people want the other one.
Right.
Senior housing, we've been adding some of that lately down by the Houstons, but I think we're certainly going to keep on being a demand for that. But again, I think diversifying the housing types, we have more types that we're looking into.
No, it all looks good to me. I was just looking to get some context as to who's involved in the process moving forward.
Yeah, we also sent a draft to Andrew Homburg, but I haven't heard back.
Okay.
Is there any data on first-time homeowners? I guess one of my concerns about smaller lots is those typically are first-time homeowners.
Right.
And if you've looked at any of the ones, say by Metro Market or out on the west side towards Verona, you literally can shake hands across your deck with your neighbor.
Need a big lawnmower?
And, you know, some of those houses are literally, you know, they're occupied for a year and they're on the market. So,
And you're, I'm sorry, did you have, you just?
well, I personally favor a larger lot. It's-
Versus the high density, high unit.
I mean, you're only talking about 2,000 square feet, but
Right.
that's potentially cutting off 20 feet one direction.
Right.
That puts you pretty close to your neighbor.
Okay.
I have a comment.
Yep.
Personally, I think it comes down to design. If you look at Middleton Hills, very small lots, $1 million homes. I've done a lot of work in Middleton on lots that are less than 6,000 square feet. You know, they range from 450 to 800,000 per home. So the lots sell for 110 to 180,000 a lot. So I mean, it's kind of. I think to me personally, it just comes down to design. If you look at Middleton Hills, how it was designed by Andres Dewani and his group, you can design in a lot of value on small lots if you want to do that, or you can just track them out and they, look, exactly like you're saying, Fred.
Well, we don't have to name the developer,
Is there a way
but
we
we all
can
know
build
who it
quality
is. So.
in? Is there a way we can build quality into certain? I mean, the market really will bear it. I mean, we'll probably drive it, but I think small lots will work. Just that you just need to do it in the right way.
One of Keith's name, I mean, they have built some upper end homes, and it's just like that. Here's a $450,000, $600,000 home, and my neighbor's right there. And I don't necessarily care for it. I don't know what the demand is for it. I guess I would want to tread lightly on the smaller lots.
Would it be helpful to come back with examples from other communities of what their districts look like and what their sizes are?
Some of their designs maybe.
Put it
I
in
would
some
like to know,
context.
I would like to know developers that are interested in developing these. I mean,
Well, yeah, that's a good
Well,
point.
Don Tierney, I mean, every single Don Tierney development you see, if you go in Freedom Homes, half of them are probably Don Tierney developments. I'd say, I don't know if any of those, but very few of those are probably 10,000 square foot lots. They're pretty small lots.
Yeah, maybe some examples would be helpful. Any other thoughts or questions on anything here? Otherwise, I think it's pretty all-encompassing. I like it.
so what do you need us to do?
If we still want to revisit that issue, we can table it and come back and talk about the lot sizes.
No, we tabled.
Table this.
We got away from tabling, and I'm glad we're reintroducing it. So that's a better way to keep track of things.
Okay.
Motion to table.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second to table. Any other discussion on Aaron's housing chapter of the comprehensive plan? Not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Down to comments from commission members. Don is absent and excused. Mick? Anything?
At CDA, we're working on the economic chapter right now, which is what was on my mind when I heard what was coming forward tonight. Aaron, do you have an idea when that'll be coming forward? Or what the kind of schedule is for the
Economic board?
I think this group looked at it once, but we could go through the final version. I think the one change we made was finalizing the goals, objectives, policies for that chapter. But I think the CDA was done with it.
Okay.
That's all I have.
All right. Well, Jennifer? John?
Two items, I think the last meeting I said I'm on the, for the school board, they're actually introducing citizen members, and there's communication, community outreach, and government relations. We've met twice. It's kind of introduction, establish goals. Right now, government relations is more steered towards what's happening at the state level.
Okay.
And what I've asked them to do is the school board and superintendent's office work that, and then we can maybe develop some mechanisms to better communicate back to the town, the village, city of Monona, so we've progressed. And just this week, I got nominated to sit on a facility advisory committee, which is kind of what to do with the next step of the schools. And that's going to be fairly labor intensive over the next 3 months, where there's 6 mandatory meetings lasting 2 hours apiece. And then at the end of January, there's a recommendation to the school board on how to proceed with what to do with the growth in both Cottage Grove and Monona for schools. So hopefully I'm able to bring some information back to this body as well as the village board.
Thanks for being involved with that.
Yeah, I talked to Dan about that on Monday myself, or, yeah, Monday, no, Tuesday. And the school board is, in open session discussing purchasing land tonight. So it should be interesting to see.
Yeah, and so my understanding is they can move forward with purchasing land, but they probably aren't going to decide where. Or
Dan seemed to downplay it real
I-
worried.
right.
Talk
Okay.
about it.
Anything else, John?
Nope, that's it.
Brad, anything?
Nothing.
All right, I have nothing. Lee?
No.
Matt? No. Aaron, anything? Mike?
Motion.
County Ed and School Road, we'll continue in at, in the middle of the road, finishing it up on one day, and splitting the traffic on each side so you can get the medians completed. So
Okay.
it's on schedule,
Still by the 30th?
yes.
I
And
see.
then, Southall Plat paving starts tomorrow.
I saw him working overtime.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. We're down to future agenda items. Anybody? Matt?
The next agenda is gonna look a lot like this one.
I think so. All right. Anybody want to go home?
Second.
All right. Motion and second to adjourn, non-debatable. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you.